Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Jessica Jones Show. Today we have a great individual, a great friend of mine. We have some awesome and amazing things to talk about, as well as talking about injustices that are happening in the brown community, but also happening in the LGBT community as well. And I feel like we need to bring more awareness for everyone. We need everybody at the front of the line. So let's continue to move forward in that, but let's get all of the information plus some. Welcome, Trenton. Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Okay, right. Come on, sit back, get comfortable.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah, the last girl, she said in the Indian style, so... You know what I mean? We're on the couch. You know what I mean? And that's the first thing. When you're on the couch, you just want to relax, feel like you're at home, period. But first of all, we are wearing the shirts, Tell Black Stories. So this is from Stay Macro. The owner and founder is Charles King and his wife, Miss King, as well. I want to say thank you because they have a production company and they basically support people of color. By telling our stories. They always look for writers and actors and people in the artistry field in the Los Angeles. But maybe they may branch out, but I did find out about them here when I attended one of their events and they gave us merchandise, shirts and things. And this one this is before COVID-19, before the riots were happening. This was last year in 2019, in December, that I actually got this shirt. And this is so crazy how amazing, well, not amazing because of what we're going through, but we are going through transformation and change, and that is amazing. But how these shirts really match up with what we're going through as of right now. So thank you, Stay Macro, for supporting people of color and the production business, actors, writers, and artists alike. Thank you guys. And also to my friend Caroline, she creates these pants. Okay, girl?
Okay.
That part. So Caroline up in Oregon, girl, thank you for these pants. And if you guys want to check those pants out, check her out. And I'm going to also, because this is black owned as well, Lip Bar, Justine Sky, this eye color is also hers. So if you guys want to know more about that, DM me. Okay.
Looking cute.
Okay. I'm saying a little snatch, Don't ask me where I got this scarf. Okay, we're going to talk about that some other time. But yes, how are you feeling with everything that's going on right now? Like, how are you feeling?
Well, first, before I begin, I want to say thank you for having me on your show. I do want to give a shout out to Stay Macro for supporting black artists out there.
Yes.
We
are artists. Support us. Okay, that part.
Okay. But how I feel on the situation, it's kind of this feeling of outrage, honestly.
Yeah.
We have been oppressed for so long, and now it's being brought back up to the surface, especially with protesting and all the riots going on and all the looting that's going on.
Right.
It's really touchy for some people.
Right. And I know we've talked about this, but you were one of the people who was on the front lines of the peaceful protests, and I would love for you to tell everyone at home what happened in Santa Monica, of all places.
I know.
Right.
But yes, last Sunday I attended a peaceful protest in Santa Monica, and at first everything was fine. We were peacefully protesting. The people that showed up to this event, it was really, really, strong in the fact that so many people were out here supporting the cause, and so many people
of different races. Religious
and let me just say, I gotta say it out here now. A lot of people not of color were at this event, okay? Just had to add that in there.
Yes. Okay. I'm loving the support.
They all were out there supporting. Yes. We were all out there with our hands up in the sky. We were all doing our things.
Right.
But it only lasted for an hour. So.
And why is that? So what happened? Because I'm like, how does a peaceful protest only last for an hour?
That part.
Right.
So I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, we're doing our thing, and then the police make an announcement saying that there is a curfew that's present in Santa Monica at 4 p.m., but they made this announcement at 3:30.
See, that's the bogus part. Because it's like, if you're already out and about, you're working or protesting or anything, it's like, how are you going to tell us what, an hour and a half? beforehand, when you're out at these protests, it's thousands, hundreds of people that are out there. So calling an Uber or any of those things can be very hard. So it's basically like LA during Halloween, when you're like, in Santa Monica, and when it's crazy and you can't get anywhere. And that's the same way it is dealing with these riots.
For sure. And I'm going to get on Lyft in a second because, okay, it was difficult trying to get a Lyft out of Santa Monica on Sunday. Okay. But I'll get to that in a second.
Right. Let's get to this point.
But, they kept saying, if you guys do not remove yourself from the premises, you guys will be in compliance with California state law, section 4.5, all these numbers that nobody knows. Right. So, some people were inching back slowly. Some people were like, we're not going anywhere.
Right.
And, I'm just like, it's a peaceful protest. What are they going to do? But while we were protesting, they were putting on gas masks and loading up their guns of rubber bullets. And I'm just like, what's the point of that?
But okay, so this is the part that got me. You were telling me that on another street they were looting. And they were focused on you guys at a peaceful protest, but not focusing on the people who were actually stealing and doing all the fucked up shit that they was doing. They were so busy. Why were they, the police officers, I don't know if this is that the lack of planning or this was a strategic move as to why they were at those places that they've been at, but please tell me.
Girl, let me tell you. Firstly, the amount of police officers that were at this event and none of them were in the looting zone, just let that sit there, okay? Okay, there were so many police officers present. The National Guard was at this event. What was their purpose there? Right. So, and for no police officer whatsoever to be in the looting zone where the actual destruction was taking place, that to me kind of, draws me away. But I'll get to that more in a second. But, once they started doing the countdown and once, people weren't moving, that's when they started shooting, throwing tear gas canisters at people. And it's just like, what's the point? It's a peaceful protest. Nobody's armed. Like, what's the point of promoting this violence? Are we trying to instill fear in people?
Yes.
What are we gaining from that though? As a whole, as an individual, what are you gaining from that? Do you want to see people getting hurt as a police officer?
They probably, if they're doing that, then they don't care. You know what I mean? Or whoever the captain is or whoever's in charge, they put out their orders and they just carried them. But I want to know, did anything happen to you? Were you harmed? Were you hit by any rubber bullets? Was anything out of the norm for you that you feel like this went from a peaceful situation that turned drastically wrong?
For sure. So when they first started shooting, I got shot in the arm, I should say, with a rubber bullet. And it's like, if you've gone to
what does that feel like?
If you've gone to any indoor, paintball place and
those things hurt.
They hurt.
Those things do fucking hurt.
For the people that are up close and get hit by them, it's really intense.
Right.
So luckily I was at a distance when I got hit. So it wasn't super bad. It left a lump for a couple of days, but I'm all good now. That wasn't the worst of it. As time was going on, it was just getting too out of hand for me to stay in the protest. So I walked away. In order for me to call a Lyft, I had to go back into the business district of Santa Monica.
Oh my God.
It's not like the police made that easy.
Right.
So they blockaded off. The protest was at Ocean Avenue in Colorado.
Right.
So they blockaded off Colorado. Why? We don't know. Stay tuned. But I had to walk southbound on Ocean Avenue to Olympic, walk over Olympic to Lincoln, walk northbound on Lincoln to get back to Broadway to the business district. And by the time I got there, the looting was so out of control. And
my God.
The Vons that's there on the intersection of
my God.
Broadway and Lincoln, it was totally looted. There was produce everywhere over the parking lot, on the sides of the streets, and it was just for what?
For what?
So I don't condone any of that. I don't associate myself with any of that. But then across the street was a Chase Bank.
Okay.
And a lot of people were there looting, breaking into the ATM.
That part.
Right.
They've been doing that a lot.
Yeah, trying to get money. The banks don't know. Anyway.
Please tell me what, because we got this juicy part of it. It's not, I don't want to say juicy, because at the end of the day, it's not about juice. And let me just clarify that, because the juicy stuff in that I have been seeing on Instagram has really been fucking with me heavy. So when I say this, I mean you know, let people know what's really going on. Like, get to the climax, the heart of what happened to you once you walked to Broadway and you went to call your Lyft. Because this is something that people need to hear. It went from a peaceful thing and then it just got crazy. Yeah. So I want to hear like what that part was, because I want to go forward into the next things that we have.
For sure. So there was a lot of traffic building up, and then all of a sudden some man jumped out of his vehicle armed and with a gun, running up to the people that were in front of Chase. And I'm like, what's the intention there?
So this was like, what was his race?
It was hard for me he could pass as somebody that would be Caucasian, or just somebody generally as somebody that's not of color.
He could have been Middle Eastern, he could have been but he was like lighter, fair, so you weren't really able to tell, but he hopped out of his car.
With a gun.
With a gun. Not a rubber bullet, a real gun.
A real gun.
And aimed it at you.
For sure. So he ran over to the bank at first, and, you know, he's shooting around and waving around, and then he comes into the middle of the street and starts pointing at different people. And at this time, I'm recording the situation, so I have this whole thing on video, and then he points it directly at my camera.
Oh, hell no.
So at that moment, I knew that I was just like, I gotta evacuate the situation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, this is out of hand. I knew at that very moment that, you know, it wasn't my time to go. I have a bigger purpose to fulfill here on this earth.
Yep.
But my one thing was, do I sit here and worry and panic, or do I evacuate the situation? And that I did.
Absolutely. And I'm glad. I mean, the reason why I smile now, because I love you. And I know, like, God had his or her hands wrapped around you with your guardian angels, because I'm like, if that man would have took him out here, like, no, hell no, because this man is way too important to the movement and what we're going forward. And we're going to have some more stuff that we're going to talk about later on. I'm going to have him come back, because I want you guys to know so much more about Trenton, because he's low-key lit. So, and he's also from New York, and you know, New Yorkers in the artistry are everything. But I am so happy that God, you know, spared you and those people. But like, who the hell or what the hell possessed him to pull a goddamn gun out at a peaceful and just was waving it around like that shit is okay?
Right. I'm still trying to process that, and every time when I think back on the situation, I still wonder to this day, and I said it before, what was the intention behind it?
Right.
Are you trying to instill fear in people? Are you trying to, you know, what is the intention at the end of the day?
Right.
You know, like I have all these questions in my head, and, you know, and then the best part about it was, the next day I see online on Instagram, dailymail.co.uk, they put out an article and made him look like he was a vigilante.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
We gotta put that link at the bottom of this video on YouTube, because I need y'all to see this mess. Like, this is the type of stuff that is unnecessary, uncalled for. It is not professional. How? Like, where was it? Did they just take one picture of this man and was like, okay, he's taking a gun like this, and this was automatically like, the hell? Like, what did y'all go to school for? Did y'all really go to school for journalism? Like, what did y'all go to school for? Because I'm just going to keep it 100. The news has been on some other shit, and it's been on some other biased ass bullshit. You've been paid out. You've been paid off by the higher ups to give out bullshit ass stories that do not match what's really going on in the news. I have friends who live and are all around the world. They'll be like, girls, this news station, that news station, like, girl, that's not correct. That's not what's happening. So for you guys out there, like, you really have to take to the streets in order for you to really find out what's really going on, because you can't trust the news. The news isn't really giving you the real news, and they're always reporting bad news. You know what I mean? Every protest didn't end up with a man waving his gun around or people getting shot with rubber bullets. They also have cops that were walking and standing with them. Like, report the good news too. There is a lot of great things happening in the world, and there is so much anxiety. There is so much mental health, like mental breakdowns that are happening in the midst of all of this. Like, give the people something to believe in. Like, there is still faith. There are a lot of things underway. This transformation is bringing about a great change. So I want y'all to know there is greatness. There is positivity. There is light that is being shown from within. So don't get caught up on this news. Take to the streets. Take your ass out there and figure out what's really going on, as to why I brought Trenton on in the first place.
Okay.
But I want to get to another topic that we discussed as well, the LGBT community and what's been going on with, and I'm talking about the black LGBT community with the hetero black people, period, and what's been going on with that. So there was a trans woman by the name of Iyanna
Dior.
So
right.
yes.
So this surfaced online a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I believe that she was out protesting in Minneapolis due to the...
Minneapolis, of all places. I'm sorry, I'm hyped.
Exactly.
Out of all places.
Out of all places. I believe that she was out there because of the certain circumstances that we are in. But because she is a transgender woman, she was belittled by people. And there's actually video of her being violently attacked by a group of people of color, and it just goes to show.
And let's just be clear: was it black people?
Yes, yes, these were black people, and it's just like, what's the point of this movement if we're attacking
still
our own
segregated
people? Exactly.
It's like colorism. You know, I spoke about this on the last one. Oh, she's light skinned, she's dark skinned. There's a color, like house slave and feels. We don't have time for this. Whether they're gay, lesbian, bi, queer, or trans, like we need everybody to be at the front of the line. Everybody to be front and center. You know what I mean? Like we need everything and what it takes. We need white people to come together. We need the Asian people. We need the Latin community to come together. We need everybody here. And so when we do this as a black people, that takes us 5,000 steps back, because we are so focused on the shit that does not matter. Let this trans woman come out and show forth. And you also gave me some other information about what happened with an activist back.
Yes, yeah. Marsha P. Johnson. So
Marsha P. Johnson.
A lot of people
remember,
in the LGBTQ community are staying silent through this, as you know. And it's not just them. There are a lot of other people, but specifically in the LGBTQ community, there's a lot of people that are staying silent. And the reason why we have our rights put in place today is because of a woman called Marsha P. Johnson.
Yeah.
She was an activist that participated in the Stonewall riots back in 1969.
Wow.
Yes. So the reason why we have these rules set in place today, the reason why we are at the place today for the LGBTQ community is because of a black trans woman.
Yep.
So it's like a lot of people need to start doing research and studying up on these things.
Research.
Because a lot of people do take for granted, you know, the resources that we have today. And on top of that, you know, how she actually passed away, that's also a story of speculation.
Yep.
Because the police supposedly found her drowned in the Hudson River. Mm-hmm. However, nobody believes that because of the fact that there was a big injury on the back of her head when she was found.
Right.
So, and nobody obviously is going to come forward nowadays and be like, oh, you know, that was me. But this seems to me like this is something that'll come forward in 30, 40 years and then it'll be exposed. But why is this happening? You know, this stuff like this should be on the front lines in media, talked about regularly, but it's not because of the fact that she's sheerly transgender. And
that's another point that I want to make. It's like, yeah, everyone's like, you know, focus on black against white, you know, or focus against blacks against everyone else. Like, for me, just focusing on that is not the issue. We have to also figure out what's happening in our houses. You know, before you can save somebody else and put all your energy somewhere else, you got to first figure out home. You have to align home. And that's what I mean when it comes to dealing with the black community and dealing with anyone who's different, you know, whether it be LGBTQ community or you're dealing with someone who is a quote unquote blurred, you know what I mean? What just stands for black nerds. And a lot of my black nerd friends were teased in school, as well as being, you know, that whole separation because you're different and you don't fit this whole like status quo of whatever you learn in the Christian church or wherever you learned it at, like that shit has to go too. Like we cannot continue to be in these bullshit ass boxes that were created in ancient times that never fucking worked then and is not fucking working right now. Like we have to upgrade the whole entire system because right now that shit is in a dire need of an upgrade. You know what I mean? Like big need. And so when the trans community is coming out to help support, grab her or grab his hand or however they deem themselves, grab another brown person's hand of any color, light skin or dark skin, grab your white best friend's hand, your Japanese friend's hand, everybody. Because this movement can't work without everyone working together. You know what I'm saying?
See, I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said there because it's very important that we all come together in a time like this because that's how change is going to be initiated.
Yep.
If we all come together, it doesn't matter the skin color or your sexual orientation or what religion that you choose to worship or how you worship. It's not about that.
Right.
You know, it's about unity and coming together as people because at the end of the day, we are all coexisting on this earth at one time.
Coexist. You know what the funny thing about it is, as much as you think you are alone, despair, anxiety, depression, there is someone else going through the same exact thing you're going through. No one is alone. We are all interconnected.
Okay.
When you think you're dealing with something that is so abstract, you're not.
Preach.
A lot of everything that we've all been through, somebody else has been through it. And that's another thing. Whether you think you are on point and you are at the top of your class, someone is always going to be better than you. And someone is going to be worse than you. So you really have to stay on an even kilter anyways. Because you're never going to be the best at anything because someone's going to always outdo you. So when you look at the community as itself, you're not above anybody and you ain't below nobody. We're all on the same motherfucking level when it comes to that. I don't give a damn how many degrees you have and I don't give a fuck how much shit you done stole or how many times you've been locked up. At the end of the motherfucking day, we have a movement and that shit has to move forward. And if you don't want to be a part of that, then by all means, go and do your own shit somewhere else. But when we're trying to do a peaceful protest or we're trying to do things in the right way, step aside. We don't have time for that shit no more. It's time for change. Right. 2020 is a time for change. And I don't give a damn how you feel. It's been time for that. It's everybody's motherfucking year. How about that?
That part. One thing I do want to say is I want everybody to keep an open mind on the situation.
Please.
And this, I'm going to actually pull up my notes here because there is a lot that does have to be said on the topic of what actually is going on beneath the surface. So one thing is, you know, we're in this quarantine period from COVID.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
What happened?
You know, where are the stats? You know, the media is so, you know, focused on these riots. On showing what's going on outside, but what happened to the stats?
Yep.
Then at these protests, were the police wearing masks? Where were their masks? You know, they're so ready to shoot people or tear gas people, but where's their protection? Was anybody at these protests standing 6 feet apart from each other?
Nope.
That part. It's just like what is actually like going on, and not to degrade, you know,
someone
COVID
who actually had it,
right, and not to degrade COVID and its importance because it's very important. I definitely do believe that COVID has affected so many people in this, but it's like almost like the importance of COVID went under the table, and now it's all about the riots. When in reality, it's just like we've been in quarantine for so long, for 3 months now. I've been out of work for 3 months. And now all of a sudden there's no stats.
Nothing.
Then on top of that, we had so much trouble getting masks circulated into our economy. But now we have money for tear gas. We have money for rubber bullets.
Yep.
We have money for the police force overall. But we didn't have money for masks.
But what I will say, did you have another point to make?
Go ahead.
I will say that they were going to put how much more billions of dollars towards the police, and they just switched it to people of color. He's going to put a lot of that money. Now we gonna pray that that's exactly what this man is gonna do.
Right.
Is it the mayor?
It's the mayor. Yes, it's the mayor of California, the governor of California.
Governor, right?
Rather,
correct me if I'm wrong, Lord, please.
So what's that all about? Is the 2021 proposal for the budget for LAPD. So what is happening with that? So every year they get a certain amount of money for their budget, just like every other place does.
Right.
Their budget in 2020 was $2.3 billion.
Wow.
In 2021, it is due to raise $7 million. Now, there's a statistic that I want to throw out there. Sorry, I can't,
Go ahead.
speak because I'm like raging.
Oh, look,
but I found this out online. $24 billion. $24 billion is how much it'll cost to get the homelessness wiped out completely in the United States.
In the United States?
In the United States. $24 billion, yes. $35 billion is how much it will cost to free tuition for colleges. But yet and still, $100 billion goes to police, to the police force.
Wow.
Both of those numbers combined doesn't even reach $100 billion. That's like almost double. So it just puts into perspective where the money is going, what the priorities of the this country is going through. So it's just a lot to really think about. But just keep an open mind on everything. And that's actually another point that I wanted to get to. The Blackout Tuesday that we just recently had on June 2nd.
Yes.
That was a voting day. So
Please.
let me pull up what states needed to vote on that day. If you were a citizen of Indiana, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Montana, South Dakota, and Iowa, your voting for primaries was on June 2nd, 2020.
Wow.
And it just so happens to be on the same day as Blackout Tuesday. Just let that sit there for a second. Who was the person who created Blackout Tuesday? Where are they? That part.
That part.
Okay.
That wasn't even the only thing. There were a couple other things that were very important. And my God, please charge my head, not my heart. But I had saw it on Instagram that there was something else that was huge that we were supposed to be voting on, and I had no idea about. And that's another thing. Inform yourselves. Go out there, get the information, surround yourselves with people who take the time to research. If you don't want to do it, like surround yourself with somebody who has the information. Like, you have to be informed, because sitting around on Instagram all day and watching people's memes and like liking it and posting and reposting it is not it. We still have to log off at the end of the day and get out on the pavement and get some major shit done. So please stay informed with your state, where your money's going, who you're voting for. All of those things are very, 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 very important. This is one of my last things I want to go ahead and plug in before we close out. Trenton is an amazing, amazing singer. He is an amazing dancer, and he's an amazing yoga instructor. Did I miss anything else? Actor as well? Yes. All of those things. He is helping me, and we're working together currently on some vocals. I had to plug this in because I want to help anybody else. And we did talk about supporting Black business. Just want to go ahead and put that out. Support his Black business right here while you support mine.
That bar.
He does training. If you want to learn ballet, he is phenomenal. Please follow him. We're going to put his Instagram down below, but follow him on Instagram. Also, if you want ballet, like beginner ballet, yoga instructor, he's going to help us with what we're going to do on Zoom and how we're going to meet up. We're going to have a whole guided meditation. He's amazing at. But stay tuned. We're going to do a yin yoga practice. It's going to be a very short video, and you can just he'll show you ways and how to open up and do it in the yin way. Yin is more about
releasing.
Yes, and slowly becoming, and not being so fiery, but more water, and like letting things naturally flow. But yes, this man is the jack of all trades. So please follow him on Instagram, tagged below. But what is it? What is your full?
Trenti Wayne, TRENTIWAYNE.
Got you. So hold on, spell it one more time slow.
TRENTIWAYNE.
Boop. There you go. Okay. All right. But we're gonna move over, and I'm gonna have another video showing a little bit of what yin meditation, yin yoga looks like with this lovely gentle man. We're gonna move forward in that. But thank you guys once again for tuning in. I wish we had so much to talk about, but of course we want to keep you guys engaged. So please tune in. We had the video of what he went through at the end. So please watch until the end of what happened. I wish I would have said that at the beginning of the video too. Lord have mercy.
Girl, it's okay.
It's
You'll
okay.
let him know. Okay.
But right. But the video is, it's no laughs and giggles with what the video of what he went through out there. But we do have footage. I will put that at the end. But yes, thank you guys once again for catching this fellow, this guy, this love, this full blast of energy Scorpio. And he also reads charts. So if you want your full chart read, the man does everything. So just check him out, and check me out too, because I do some tarot too, and I'm ready. So we're Cancer, Scorpio, boop, you know.
We
in
love
here.
all that water.
Right, but like
Stay hydrated.
Yes, and flow, bitch. Okay. So once again, stay informed, stay in tune, but please comment, subscribe, like, love, everything. If you don't like it, talk about it. If you do like it, share it, move it along. But thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all. And I'll see you guys next time. Once again, thank you for watching the Jessica Jones Show, and stay tuned for the videos of what happened to Trenton on the front lines of the protest.
Peace out, guys.
No! Oh my God.